Hello everyone, this is our next reading lesson. Our book today is Iggy, Peck, Architect. It's by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. So same author and illustrators before. A new character though. You're going to get to see it's a similar kind of a story though, similar kinds of messages and lessons. Again, if you Rosie Revere is definitely probably the more well-known book from Andrea, but this one is just as good. I really, really enjoy this one as well. This one's about Iggy Peck, creative, independent, and not afraid to express himself. So as we're reading this book again today, we are going to be focusing on the skill. You can read it with me at I Can Recount. Ready? I can recount the plot of a story and use key events to explain the central message, lesson, or moral. Now remember, recount means to describe. It doesn't mean tell. You're not going to tell absolutely every little thing. You're going to try to describe the key events or those very, very important parts of the story. It is like a main idea. You don't retell the entire nonfiction book. You are just telling the most important parts. Same as you're doing a recount, a summary. And really, and that's also what you call this. Summarizing, a summary. You are trying to get just those really most important parts. And we're going to use that to then help explain that central message, lesson, or moral. With Rosie Revere, it was all about just never giving up, and that quitting is actually the biggest failure that you can do. So just some really good messages. As we are reading this today, we're going to go back to the book quick so I don't lose it. Sometimes if I don't get back into Epic, it will close out. I have to log back in, and it takes a long time. So that's why you see me doing that all the time. But we're going to be using this graphic organizer again, even though we've already done this now a couple times. I just want to always make sure I'm over-explaining, making sure everyone is feeling really good and comfortable with it. But key information here, somebody who is the main character in the story. Wanted, what is the main character's goal? But, what is the conflict or problem getting in the way of the character's goal? So, how did the character try to solve the problem? Then, what was the resolution? So, we have those things we're going to be thinking about as we're reading today, and we're going to use the second column, the notes part, then to just to record all those ideas. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did yesterday. I'm going to be pausing the video. I'm going to be stopping the videos to really give you that time to force you to really think about all these different parts. But for sure, be thinking about who's the main character, what do they want, and what's that problem or conflict. So Iggy Peck, architect. Young Iggy Peck is an architect who has been since he was 2, when he built a great tower in only an hour with nothing but diapers and glue. Good gracious Ignatius, his mother exclaimed, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. But her smile faded, fast as a light. Wind blew past, and she realized those diapers weren't clean. Ignatius, my son, what on earth have you done? That's disgusting and nasty. It stinks. Yeah, dirty diapers. And even dripping. Kind of gross. But Iggy was gone. He was out on the lawn, using dirt clods to build a great sphinx. Great ancient Egypt tie-in. When Iggy was 3, his parents could see his unusual passion would stay. He built churches and chapels from peaches and apples and temples from modeling clay. Some great, very, very well-known pieces of art, buildings and designs. So cool. At dinner one night, to his father's delight, Iggy got a bright gleam in his eye, and out on the porch built the St. Louis Arch from pancakes and coconut pie. So, so far, like when I'm thinking about I have this somebody, Iggy, wanted. I'm not going to say it yet, but I'm pretty sure I know what I want to say. I don't see a problem or conflict yet. So I'm still kind of waiting for that before I pause this. Dear Ig had it made until 2nd grade, when his teacher was Ms. Lila Greer. On the very first day, she had this to say, we do not talk of buildings in here. Gothic or Romanesque, I couldn't care less about buildings ancient or new, she said in her lecture about architecture, that it had no place in grade 2. That might seem severe, but she was sincere, for when she was no more than 7, she'd had a great fright at a dizzying height in a building so tall it scraped heaven. On an architect's tour of the 95th floor, young Lila got lost from the group. She was found 2 days later in a stuck elevator eating cheese with a French circus troupe. After that day, it's quite safe to say she thought old building lovers were nuts. As a teacher, she taught that above all one ought to avoid them, no ifs, ands, or buts. As you might guess, it would cause Iggy stress to hear such terrible talk. But he didn't hear. He sat in the rear when building a castle of chalk. You, Iggy Peck, your desk is a wreck. Tear down that castle right now. You will not build in here. Is that perfectly clear? Do you need to see Principal How? Ooh, I think I see the problem. No, ma'am, Iggy said. He lowered his head, and his heart sank down to the floor. With no chance to build, his interest was killed. Now 2nd grade was a bore. So, I definitely have the first 3 boxes. Nothing more, but I'm pretty sure. I have a good prediction of what this is going to be. Now, when you're doing your own reading, I really do want you to wait to fill this out until you're all the way done, just to make sure you really do have the key events lined up in the right spots. But I'm pretty sure I have those 3. So I'll stop us here, and you can reflect on it too.